And in our top business story, the UAE will aim to increase the contribution of the manufacturing industry towards the GDP to 25% by the year 2025, a significant rise from the current levels of 11%. That's according to His Excellency Sultan bin Saeed Al Mansouri, the UAE Minister of Economy. The target was highlighted during a press conference to announce the launch of Global Manufacturing and Industrialization Summit, with the inaugural event to be held in Abu Dhabi in 2016. Organized in collaboration with the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, the two-day summit will be held under the theme Shaping the Future of Manufacturing, bringing representatives of global governments, leaders of industries, and civil societies to address key challenges faced by the industrial sectors. The UAE capital will continue to host the event, which will be held every 2 years. Evaluating the importance of the sector, the UAE Minister of Economy stated that diversification of economy through developing the manufacturing industry is a key component of the UAE Vision 2021. It was added that the industry plays a major role as an employer of talent, attracts greater investment, and companies have a shared responsibility to actively contribute towards the long-term economic growth of the country.
We have identified the sectors that we need to give priority to based on the demand of the markets by providing for the right information to the private sector, the manufacturing sector, to make and understand why we are, looking at these sectors. And then we calculate the revenue generated through these new industries within the GDP, and then adding it up to the overall GDP of the UAE by taking a percentage of the 20% into the whole economy. So it's a process that we have developed. We have a matrix, as I said, and it's a matter of implementing this matrix. But also, what we need to do is to adjust it accordingly, because things do change over the years. So every maybe 2 years, 3 years, we could review it and see what is our achievement on that. As I said, we mentioned the investment law and the possibility of create more flexibility on that one. It could, this will also help and aid on the manufacturing. If there is certain manufacturing that we see it as something that could provide for a better agenda for the growth of the economy in the UAE, we will have to adopt it and, of course, present it to the cabinet.
Describing the country as on the verge of becoming a leading manufacturing hub, the Director General of UNIDO, Li Yang, added that manufacturing has evolved out of the boundaries of factories rather transferred into developing to technology. It was added that the summit should provide the right knowledge of building the sector's resilience, which should foster innovation, provide stable jobs and prosperity to households globally.
Too low industrial level really not appropriate for a country to move ahead with job creation, technology advancement. For instance, one of the examples is EU. EU, after financial crisis 2008, they created a new policy. They will raise the industrial percentage for all the member states from 14% to 20% by 2020, focusing on technology advancement and innovation. So that is a kind of strategy, good example for other countries to pick up.
The Ajman Tourism Development Department has announced the latest tourism statistics in the Emirate for the first quarter of 2015, which show that the tourism in the UAE's smallest emirate is picking up. Revenues of Q1 were 90 million dirhams compared to 77 million dirhams in the same period in 2014, with the number of hotel nights doubling to 440,000 nights in Q1 of 2015, compared to only 240,000 nights in Q1 of 2014. Asian and African nationalities were high on the list of guest nights, followed by GCC nationals and then other Arab citizens. The number of visitors to Ajman in the first quarter of 2015 reached 120,000, with a hotel occupancy rate increasing to 70%, compared with only 56% in the same period in 2014. The number of hotel establishments, including hotel apartments in Ajman, reached 35 in the first quarter of 2015, compared with 30 from the previous year period. According to Ajman tourism officials, The strong figures support the Emirates' push to raise global awareness of its tourism offerings and continues the positive upward trend of revenues and numbers for 2015 when compared to previous years, which showed that total tourism revenues reached nearly 300 million dirhams in 2014 compared to 220 million dirhams in 2013. And looking to all of the Emirates, overall tourism or tourist spending rose by 5% in the first quarter of the year compared to the same period in 2014. The statistics were revealed as part of a new study by Network International, a payment solutions provider in the MENA region. The report, which is based on credit or debit card transactions by country in the first quarter of 2015, found the Americans accounted for the largest portion of total spending in the quarter, with 21%, tourists from Saudi Arabia 12%, followed by UK 9%, China 4%, and Kuwait 3.4%. The Russian ruble crisis has had a major impact on spending by Russian tourists, which dropped by 52% in Q1, taking the country out of the top 5 spenders for the first time in recent history. Despite coming in the top 5, Chinese spend is down by 7% on the same period last year. These drops were offset by significant growth in spending from the USA, up 9%, KSA up 25%, and Canada up 53% since last year. Given distance traveled, Americans, Canadians, and Australians spend the most of any nationality on airfare. However, once they arrive, they spend the lowest average amounts on hotels and meals. According to the data, Chinese visitors spent twice as much with an average transaction value of 13,000 dirhams.